Shannon Brannon, Editive Style. Wanted to just share a little bit. I've actually had an eBay account for 23 years this year. I started back in 2013. My husband had an account and I was having him list some things for me. And one day he's like, why don't you get an account? So I went ahead and signed up, got an account, and started listing items that we had. He's big into D&D and had a ton of books that he was ready to go ahead and let go. So I would list those. I think my first year I sold like $6,000 just literally on the side. When our boys were 3 and 4, he had a change with his job and I was a stay-at-home mom. Felt like we needed some additional income coming in. And so I started listing stuff that we had, especially with all the kids' clothes that the boys had grown out of, shoes. And once I went through our stuff, I had let some of my friends know. I had a friend who had some Coach purses and wallets. She didn't have an eBay account, didn't want an eBay account, but she also didn't want to sell her items at a garage sale. I started listing and would take a percentage of what would sell. And so I did that for 6 months, allowed for extra income we did not have at that time. And that was super helpful. I'd say 2 years ago, I started doing jeans right before several thrifters were sharing about how they were selling jeans and doing really well. In my opinion, there were so many people that started selling jeans that the market became saturated on eBay. This last month, I decided to give it another try and pick it back up. It's been fabulous. I think one of the things I'm doing this time is I'm selling on several different platforms, which has made a huge difference for me. In November, I had several items of winter clothes that no longer fit in a good way. I'd lost enough weight that it was time to get rid of those items. So I went ahead and got a bag from thredUP, sent all my stuff in. I had a bunch of torrid items that were worth a lot of money. I made $53 for 18 items. And honestly, I could still just kick myself for that because in the last month, I have sold over $800 that I've earned on thredUP as a direct seller. In February, they sent me an email letting me know that some beta testing on direct listing and had invited me to become a direct lister. So I took another look into it, and even though I had a bad taste in my mouth with how little I had made with my $53 for what probably was a few $100s easily that should have been in my own pocket, I decided to give the direct listing on thredUP a chance. And it's been fabulous. Several things that aren't selling on eBay, I was able to transition over to thredUP Direct, and those items sold within 30 days. I also have started listing on Vinted, which I really like for items that I just want to try and get my money back. And I'm listing on there to get items moving. That's probably been one of my biggest changes, is looking at numbers, not allowing myself to be emotionally attached anymore to these items. And you have to be able to separate. You have to be able to look at the big picture, which is what cost you put in. And you know, my goal is always to make 3 to 5 times what I paid for it. I think in reality, there's a lot of items that unless there is a big need for them or they're high-end designer, they're typically only gonna go for 2 to 3 times. My fossil bag that I listed last month just sold last night. I'm gonna make $41 on something that I've spent very little time on, and that was a great find. I had several offers in the last month that were much lower than what I was willing to accept. The biggest part is knowing what you have and being realistic on whether the item you have is really worth what you have it listed for. There's been tons of times I've thought something's so great looking, but that's my opinion. And if you don't have a market that's willing to spend the amount that you have on it, it's gonna sit. Or if you don't have it listed on the right platform, it will sit. My jacket, I shared about this last week. I bought it at a garage sale for $1 and I thought, oh my gosh, I can easily turn this for 40, 50 bucks. It sat for 2 years on eBay. 2 years. I unlisted, I changed the title, I relisted, I changed the pricing. And so I finally thought, I'm gonna try ThredUp. And even though I felt like I was missing the mark with the season, now that we're about to go into summer, I still felt like it was trendy enough for that platform that it would sell at the right price. I sold it for $22. I paid $1. Paid $1. I got my buck back and I made a little extra. But I think knowing your audience is almost as big of a deal as knowing what you have to sell. Because if you've got the right item and you have it in front of the right customers, it's gonna sell, especially if it's at the right price. So a little bit about my background, how I've used eBay, and now I'm growing and I'm opening up to being on more platforms, which I'm finding is very helpful. So hope that helps.